What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Supreme Tech. Today I got another Photoshop tutorial for you. I'm going to show you how to use the clone stamp tool, and we're going to break down some of the settings and options that you're going to want to know about and be able to change on the fly. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, smash that like button if this helps you out, and make sure to turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I come out with a brand new video. And let's get right into it. Alright, so we're inside Photoshop. We got the clone stamp tool. If you don't know where to find it, it's going to be over here on the right hand side. You just right click and it'll say pattern stamp or clone stamp. You're just going to select clone stamp. Okay. Now when I'm working with the clone stamp tool, every stamp that I make or every new clone that I make, unless it's like an area that I'm doing, I'm usually going to make a new layer. So you can either come down here and click on new layer or hold Control Shift N and click OK. Now that's Command Shift N on Mac if you're using a Mac. Alright, so now we got our new layer here, and this is where we'd be doing our clone stamp. But before we do that, I'm going to go over some of the settings and options that you can change if you want. And if you look at the top, it starts with the clone stamp tool. You can put your presets here. Then you move on. This is for the brush size and stroke and all that, which I'm going to show you a shortcut for to change that on the fly. Then we got the brush settings and the clone source panel. Also, you can find the clone source panel right here. If you don't have it here, just come to Window and look for clone source and click on it, and it'll appear right here in your other tools. These are like shortcuts, right? So that's the clone source window. We're going to get back to that in a second. Next, you got your blend mode. Okay, you got normal, darkens, lightens, overlays, and so you got a bunch of different blend modes. You got your opacity and your flow right here, as well as your pressure for opacity. We're not going to worry about that right now. That's it really if you have a pen, like a Wacom tablet. Then you got the angle, and over here, this is something very important. You're going to want to look at your sample. If you click this, you'll see it says current layer, current and below, and all layers. So say you want to make a sample and you just have current layer selected. See that we made our new layer. We're on layer 1. We're not on the actual photo right here. We're on layer 1, so if we go take a sample, it's not going to let us take it, right? That's because your sample up here is on current layer. So let's turn that to current and below. So everything below the layer that you're working on, you're going to be able to sample, which is going to be your base image, right? Okay, now that we got that, we're going to come back to our clone source window on the side right here. This is what I always suggest. I suggest clicking Show Overlay, because when you take a sample, let's take a sample of his eye right here. Once you take the sample and then you move over here, it's going to show, as you can see, it's going to show a preview of what you're going to stamp. So you can see exactly where it's going to go and stamp it, right? And I just like that personally. If you don't want to have this on, okay, let's turn it off for a second. If you don't want to have it on, but you want to be able to get to it, let's just get rid of this. See how it's not showing up? We have Show Overlay turned off. If you want to see what it looks like, just hold Alt and Shift, and you can just preview it. Some people like to work like that, where you just see the crosshair, and then Alt and Shift to preview. But the thing with that is when you're holding Alt and Shift, it is not going to necessarily let you click the button. So once you click it, see how it's moving? I'm clicking and dragging it. It's not going to preview it and let you click and make the stamp. See how I did that? So that's the Show Overlay button. Decide what you want to do. Like I said, Alt and Shift will get you the preview in the window if you don't have it turned on. Another thing that we can do is have multiple sample points. So we're going to hold our Alt button again. Make sure this clone stamp icon up here is clicked. This is going to be our first sample. So let's just come and sample the eye again. Okay, that's our first sample, the eye. Then we're going to click on here. We're going to look for our next sample. Let's do the ear. Okay, so our second sample is the ear. We're going to move on to the third sample. Let's do the nose. And so on and so forth. You got 5 of them right there that you can program. So let's just go back to number 1. And we're back to our eye. Let's go back to 3 and we're back to the nose. And click on the second one and we're painting the ear. Okay, so let's clear that up. And you can play around with the clone sources and the options at the top here if you want. I highly recommend doing your opacity and flow depending on what type of texture and stuff that you're trying to clone, right? Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and make this a little furrier than it usually is, right? So I'm just going to do a new layer again. We're going to come to the layer and let's sample. Let's make it smaller here, the brush. Oh, a shortcut for the brush is if you hold Alt and you right click and hold it down. If you move to the right, it brings your clone stamp, or this works for the brush or a lot of other tools too. It brings it bigger or smaller, and you can go up and down for the hardness. Okay, now let's hold Alt. Actually zoom in and hold Alt. Let's sample some of this hair here. Okay, so we got the hair there. Now if we wanted, we can just come around and blend it all in and make it look like he's got more hair. Okay, hold Alt again, take another sample from somewhere else. You don't want to just keep going with the same sample. You just got to work it and see how it's going. But let's get another one down here. Now this looks kind of funny, but I just wanted to show you guys to get the hang of how you're going to be able to just create more stuff, or you can also hide stuff too. And remember, we're on a new layer, so another thing you can do with that is you can work with masks. You can add a mask and get your brush, have it black or white, and you can paint away the stamp that you just did. You can do all types of different stuff combining mask and new layers. So it's pretty cool. Comment down below if you're getting some value out of this video and it's helping you out and helping you understand the clone stamp tool. And also let me know if I'm forgetting anything in this video too. Okay, so let's use this to make his eye look like just fur, right? So we're going to come down here, make sure we're on our clone stamp. We're going to hold Alt. Let's sample some of this, okay? And I made a mistake. We're going to make sure we're going to click on our layer, not our mask, right? So now that we sample that, all right, let's get rid of this mask for a second. All right, so we're going to take a sample from right here, and let's cover his eye up with some fur. See how it looks. I want to keep that black around his eye, so just come in here. We can put a little fur down there, and you can get as much detail as you want in this, right? It all depends on how far you want to go with it. Could probably come here and maybe take another sample. Get some around here, right? Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Now, if we want to come and touch some stuff up. Now, there's a lot of different things you can do with your clone stamps. And this applies for everything, really. When I'm making tutorials, I like to break down the actual tool itself. And once you understand how to learn the tools and how to use them, then you can use your own mind and figure out a million different ways how to use them specifically, right? So we can do a couple different things. We can warp this. We can do a transformation, transform it, scale it. What else? Let's see. You can go to edit over here. We can do puppet warp, perspective warp, free transform, transform. We can also come to filters. We can do liquify. All of these are going to give you just modifications. So let's just do liquify. We're going to come up to filter. We're going to click on liquify. It's also Alt Control F or Option Command F if you're using Mac. And when we're in the liquify panel, it's going to have a grid. There's a lot of different things to do here. I'm not going to break down the liquify panel today. I'm going to make a whole nother video on that. But just a quick tutorial. We got different tools over here, and we got different options. I'm just going to use the regular warp, and say we want to warp it over here. Try to bring it in a little so we see that black behind it. That's looking good. We can warp this up a little bit. And this is good for just getting your shapes completely blended with your subject, right? Then you can come click the smooth tool. Just click it once or twice, and it just helps get those pixels lined up a little better. Okay? We're going to come down here, click OK. And you can see it morphed it a little bit. Let's just bring it out and see how that looks. It looks awesome. It looks like he's got fur for eyes. And I hope you guys are liking this video, and I hope these tutorials are helping you out. I don't want this video to go too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out right around here. But be on the lookout for my ultimate Photoshop tutorial where I'm going to break down everything. It's going to be probably a couple hours long. I might do it in different video segments, but be on the lookout for that if you're interested in Photoshop, because the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to break down how to use the tools, and I'm not just going to show you, how to remove hair from a background. I'm going to show you how to use the tools to do that, and you're going to be able to decide what you want to do and how you want to do it, and you're going to know 20 different ways how to do one thing, right? So that's the goal. Check it out. Also, check out the links in the description. I got some affiliate links for like some Wacom tablets and other stuff that's going to help you using Photoshop or Premiere Pro or anything like that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.